We were mostly a bit nervous and uncertain those first few days at Reading School, which was so to shape our futures, and especially that of young Scroggs. There were just a few who made an early mark among the general rabble, and Cedric was foremost, appearing more mature and confident than many. He already had a little Latin, some French, and this was to stand him in good stead academically. He never lost that head start. At school, he became CD, signed by him on message boards in the cloisters in two neat letters, CD. I suspect he may have devised this himself as a derivative of Cedric, which perhaps seemed a bit imposing for a young man. Latterly, he has also been just John to friends and family. But to me, his given name, with its smack of the Saxon chief, has seemed ever more appropriate. Cedric was a genuine all-rounder. He really would have a go at anything. Academically outstanding, he was also active in almost every other sphere of school life. Sports, he was our shot put champion. School plays, debates, rifle shooting, swimming, chess, choir, scouts, elocution. The list goes on. But he did not just participate, he excelled. Perhaps above all, he was an oarsman, and his early love of the Thames and boats spread throughout his life, from racing eights, skiffs and punts, to a Merlin rocket, a classic slipper launch, seagoing cruises in Devon, and even a ceremonial barge. Cedric brought to all these activities a robust enthusiasm and the ability to inspire others with a can-do, will-do approach to life. He was an adventurous fellow, and when we were 14 or 15 years old, he organised a few of us to take a trip to London. We were to see Irma la Douce, a slightly risque musical romp that was doing well in the West End. This raised a few eyebrows at school and at home. However, it was a very successful jaunt, and afterwards we were all a bit in love with Elizabeth Seal, the star of the show, and no doubt feeling rather more manly for the experience. Cedric was a seasoned traveller from an early age. His father flew with BOAC, and Cedric would join him in visiting foreign parts in the school holidays. I remember a walk we did in a group of senior scouts across Scotland, following the road to the Isles, which we finished by scrambling up Ben Nevis. Most of us were carrying far too much gear and clothing. We had some time on a station platform before we set off, and amused ourselves weighing our kit on the station scales. Cedric's rucksack weighed less than half that of anyone else. I thought, this fellow is really organised. On another scouting occasion, we walked through the Dordogne for a few weeks, which resulted in a first revelation of Cedric the epicure. He and I survived on Camembert and Monbazillac, a nectar-like wine he just happened to know of. Cedric swept the board in his final year and went off to St John's and Oxford. We kept in touch and spent time together when possible. One summer evening, we were punting on the river at Sonning, with a pole, of course, when we spied two young ladies, likewise employed. Captain Scroggs issued a bold greeting, which was not entirely repulsed, and so came about the meeting of Cedric and Trish. He was mightily smitten and never got over it, ever. He had a year to finish at Oxford, which passed with many meetings, culminating in marriage and a family which became the great strength and delight of his life. And so passed the early years. Cedric had such a strong, vigorous presence that I am sure all of us here, his friends and his adored family, are finding it very difficult to accept that this lovely man is just no longer with us.